most powerful motorsport, tractor pulling. Welcome to round 2 of the 1997 Euro Cup, which today takes place at Sottrum, which is a village between Hamburg and Bremen, just off the motorway. Today there are 9 countries taking part in the 3 Euro Cup competitions, and we start with the 0.9-ton minis. 15 entries from 4 countries, with understandably the most coming from Germany. There's the sledge, which they have to pull down the 100-metre track, over 100 metres, and it's a full pull and a place in the pull-off. The winner is the one that pulls the furthest. It's a German Bayern Munich fan getting all excited, which is fine if he supports Landy, which comes from Holland. It's the opening round in Brunei as the owner-driver Dirk Feenstra is recovering from a heart attack. That's Dirk there. He can't drive yet, but he's there acting as a mechanic for Willem Wemper, who's taken time off from 299 Squadron of the Royal Netherlands Air Force to drive today. Willem is a helicopter engineer, so he should know what he's doing with this Turbomeca Turbo 3, which comes from a French helicopter. Building up the revs. And Willem is on his way. Had problems with the brakes, but was still first in Wieden last week. Going close to the edge. Was close, but no full pull today, just a fraction short. 98.86 for Landy. So Davy Crockett's disappointed, but not down. Now this is 22-year-old Raphael Rieback from Steinfeld near Bremen. This is T-Rex. It's 9 years old, one of the oldest in Germany, and is powered by a V8 Cadillac 472. First flagman Willem Tabbing from Holland gives him a come on. T-Rex begins his run down the arena. Only 450 horsepower, but they enjoy the competition without being able to beat the big boys. It's the end for the dinosaur. 50.24 for T-Rex. Looks like a bit of dinosaur pie he's eating there. Mini Superstock to pull a Mini back to the pits. Anyone for ice cream? Tastes good. Now from Germany, this is Joker with Thomas Zimmermann. Euro Cup winner in 1994, European champion in 1992, German champion for 4 of the last 5 years. That doesn't sound too good. Big problems for Joker. He never really got going. It's his brother on his way. Here he comes, carrying a towing pole to connect him up to the tractor to take him back to the pits. And I expect his father Manfred will be there as well to see what the problem was. 38.20 the distance. And if you haven't got a program, you can always write the distance on a friend's neck. But he wasn't too happy about that, was he? Now here's another German tractor, Blue Magic with Andreas Reinhold from Stuttgart. This was new last year. I see no ships, only hard ships. It'll be a hard pull anyway. Up on his back wheels, really starting to motor. Oh, and then something breaks. That really was a disappointment. Andreas shaking his head. Standing up and showing his annoyance. 56.34, and it looked like it could have been a lot more. Flags flying in the breeze, and the crowd looking to the starts where the only entry from Sweden is getting ready to run. Oh dear, another with problems. Only 18.34 to his credit. His wife Birgitta drove last year, but she doesn't have the time now, so Stefan's come all the way from his stad in Sweden, and it was all over in about 4 seconds. And they look cosy under there, don't they? Must be starting to drizzle a bit. Yes, they've gone under cover. And the umbrellas are going up. And the light rain is coming down. But you see, they've all come prepared. Not a very encouraging weather forecast today, but fortunately most of the rain has stayed away. Here's the next to pull. Little Angel's the name, and Mark Harmonite's the driver. He comes from Visselhoven. It's a Keith Black engine, 1500 horsepower, 3 times more than the power that T-Rex had at his disposal. Let's see if he goes 3 times as far. It looks promising, doesn't it? Now, has he gone over? No, just a minute's length away from the full pull. Beautifully painted, the chrome really shining, well turned out tractor, 95.62 for Little Angel. From about 1 o'clock this morning we had solid rain, and at breakfast time it looked very remote that we'd even be pulling today. But then about 10 the great flagman in the sky turned off the tap, and here we are. The track's drained quite well, and this is Gert van der Laan from Holland with exception. He'll be 17 tomorrow, so a full pull will be a fine birthday present for him. It's a Chevy 540 with a 1071 blower. Having to wrestle a bit with the steering. Now, has he done enough to get over for a full pull? No, he hasn't. Another just short of the flag. 96.31, second place at the moment behind Landy. Went on the outside and on the inside. The second of the turbines. It's a Russian Izotov Mark II, and that's Peter Gregor is sitting alongside. Peter's 40 years old from Paderborn, and it's the only Mini I know that's built this way. No, that's not semaphore. Willem's trying to wake up the people on the scoreboard. They have to show a green light to indicate that they're ready. Ah, they are, and it's all up to Skyscraper now. It's a bit difficult to steer. Going close to out of bounds, but he shuts down about a foot away, and his pull was really over by that time anyway. And if you're a mechanic, tractor pulling certainly keeps you fit. She's run all the way down to help. 81.91 for Skyscraper. And how about that for a civilized chalking machine? Back at the start, it's the turn of yet another German, Jörn Webel and Mr. Rabbit. He's a farmer, and he tells me he's got 50 hectares, 30 cows, 50 calves, and 1,000 chickens, but no rabbits that he knows about anyway. He's had a lot of help from Blue Magic and the sledge people from Iron Maniac. Let's see if that help has helped him. Now, running out of oomph there in the 80s for Jörn from Stuttgart. Let's see the distance, 88.80 for Mr. Rabbit. Enjoying his soft ice. The rockers already rolling in this Rover Meteor tank engine that's already won a European Championship for the Schwartz family from Schwarzwald. Down in the Black Forest. I was back in '93 in Denmark. Helmut was at the wheel then. Now it's Eugen who takes charge. And when he can get it in gear, he'll be on his way. Drifting a little close to the sideline. He's able to correct. Is this going to be a full pull? Oh, it's very close. Only the people on the scoreboard will be able to tell us. Yes, full pull to Ghostbuster 1. And that means he joins 6 others who've made it to the final. 3 from Holland, 2 from Germany, and 1 ready for the pull-off. This is Gert Dingerink, and it looks like he's borrowed Karl Sofer-Zengen's helmet. Maybe he left his own back in Holland. He crashed at Wieden last week, and he hurt his shoulder as well as breaking the front wheels to his tractor. He was a little concerned about something at the start there. Second in the Euro Cup in '96, fourth at the first round in Brunei. Off he goes. Makes about 80 meters, but in this quality field it will be difficult. 80.28 for Lambada 4, and that's Kenneth Dale from Denmark controlling the flag, and there's an extra one so we can see who's positioned where in the pull-off. And she's positioned herself for a very good view there. Not as close up as that, but better than most. The second of the Lambada boys. This is Gert's father, Willem, and he's got his rebuilt Lambada 3. It's a Keith Black JP2 engine. And the whole of the Dingerink family come from Zwolle in northern Holland. Willem's 49 years old, and it looks like he's showing his son how to do it. He looks across, sees his son's flag go by, but he shut down a little early, I thought. And that's his young son Wim coming across to say, "What happened, Dad? Thought you could have made a bit more there." But 86.54 takes the lead with 4 more to pull. And that little plum is called Atsi. He's the Ghostbuster mechanic, certainly turning a head or two. The Iron Maniac moving back into position. Most sledges have names, and they're strictly controlled and rated. They're owned by individuals with the respective associations hired for the job. But 1 or 2 of the associations do have their own sledges, but it's quite a time-consuming job to keep them maintained. Now this is Ghostbuster 2 with Helmut Schwarz. He's the reigning European champion. He won the first round in Brunei, and isn't he going well? His eyes are top turbines, reaching for the sky. There's a little fire at the end there for good measure. Atsi seems pleased. Looking up to the scoreboard, and what do they see? 92.34, and Ghostbuster 2 takes the lead. And that's Helmut, carrying his helmet in a 100-meter dash. No, he's not changing to athletics. He's running back to help his brother Eugen, who's next to pull. That's Eric Snackenberg, one of the Master of Ceremonies here today. He does the job with his brother Ulf. They're also promoters in the event in Oldenhof on the 30th and 31st of August, where no doubt Ghostbuster 1 will be taking part. Eugen would love to put one over on his brother here today. The engine there comes from a Centurion tank. And I can't remember the last time I saw them with problems. He's running out of steam now, and it looks like he's into 3rd place. 82.35, but there's no telling if that will hold, as 2 European champions are yet to pull. Here's the first of them, Simply Irresistible, driven today by Bert Dijkstra. They bought a new single tyre last year, and ever since then they've had problem steering. But it seems to be going okay today. Wandering a bit on the track, but keeping it together, and that was a good one. 93.84 and the lead for Simply Irresistible. And Bert is a happy man. Missed the first round in Brunei, but bounced right back here in Sottrum. And then there was just one more to pull. Mini breaker from Norway with Karl Sofer-Zengen behind the wheel. Great friends with the Dingerinks and the Irresistible boys. Had a bad time last year, but took 2nd in France. Can he go one better today? 93.84 is the distance to beat. He seems to be slowing. Oh, and then the blower belt says enough is enough. Now that is the end of his run. 77.37 gives Mini Breaker 6th place. Here it is again in slow motion. What a dramatic end to his run. He'd hoped for a lot better than that. Belts for the waste bin, but he can keep the helmet. Here's the official result. Simply Irresistible edging past Ghostbuster 2 by 1.5 metres, with Lambada 3 well ahead of the rest in third place. And Ghostbuster 2 is ahead of the rest in the points table. Right, we'll take a break now. More pulling action after this. Cup pulling action from Sottrum in Germany, where the next class on the programme is the 3.4-tonne Superstocks. A heavy Belgium sledge moving into position. Dan Beck was at the controls. Then Stiller Gnetta, the silent lover. Willem flagging in the first of the 14 tractors from 6 countries to enter the arena. And there went Niels Damgaard on Blue Power from Denmark. Third in the European Championships in Finland last September, second 2 years ago, and in 1994 he took the title. Doesn't mean he's going downhill, just that the competition is getting much, much tougher. And he's doing well to stay with them. He's got his own agricultural business, and his handicapped son and wife are here to lend their support. The fact is, his son who owns the tractor. It's a Ford 7810 with a chassis of an 8340. Uses 3 litres of diesel and 3 litres of water per run. Are we going to start with the full pull? Oh no, a few metres short there. 96.23 for Blue Power and Niels Damgaard on his way back to the paddock. And this young man hopes he has every reason to smile. He's going to propose to his girlfriend in a very special way. More of that later in the programme. And here it looks like the rain's starting again. Giving sightseeing trips in the helicopter if you've got a head for heights. He's got a pretty grizzly head on his side. The Screaming Phantom with Thomas Kaiser. 1800 horsepower, 3 turbos, the German champion. He's a big lad, Thomas, over 6'3", and he has his own transport business. 6 John Deeres in this competition, outnumbering the internationals and the Velvets. See what Thomas can do. And he's doing a good impression of a yo-yo at the moment, finding all the bumps and not finding it easy at all. Thomas clearly disappointed with that pull. 86.92 is all he can manage. And the Deers keep on coming. Here's another from Germany. We don't normally see this one too much. Flat search with Andreas Kreuser, who comes from Sutherland. 34 years old. He's an excavator driver by trade. And this could well be the best run yet. It is indeed. Oh, so close. And yet 56 centimetres short. Any further thoughts? Or Fenny, or whatever you say in Germany. And here is the Blue Chicken with Klaus Radke in the saddle. Comes from Tostedt near Hamburg. It's the sort of haircut that will send a sergeant major in the army ballistic. A little bit of a humpy start for the chicken. Seems to be free range, wanting to cover about every inch of the track, giving Klaus a ride to remember. Here it is again from our in camera, nearly out of bounds, keeps it in, back to his left, and then says enough is enough. 82.65 for the Blue Chicken. That's his name because his workshop's an old chicken coop. That's what the 51-year-old Klaus could do with a nice cup of tea, or perhaps something a bit stronger after that. And this young lad is looking forward to some nice sweet chips. So we catch up with Clemens Mathman from Munster. He's international 1046, which is called Chini. One of 3 brothers, Karl Heinz, Bernard, himself, and there's also Ralph Waldman, who all helped with the tractor. Edging over a bit to the right-hand line, but comfortably staying in, and he's also in trouble, just short of the magic 100. 98.06 1:06 for Decini. He's more interested in getting as much ketchup on each chip as possible without dripping. Now next to Paul, Margaret Kaiser backing up to the sledge. Husband Thomas lending a hand. Didn't have much luck with Screaming Phantom, so he's hoping his wife will do better. More spectators like that, and each event will be a sight. The snake winding up, about to strike. Margaret seems to have pretty good control on this run. There was a few anxious moments of Renee, but this is better. And into the 90s for Margaret. And she's delighted with that. She's smiling in her helmet. 92.58 for White Snake. Margaret getting a warm handshake there from a mechanic. The only woman in Europe driving Superstock at the moment. And we move on to our first Dutch entry. It's Kofo Power Roughneck. Despite the colour, it's a John Deere. Used to be green and just Roughneck before the welcome sponsor came along. And Roughneck is really rolling along. Oh, and he eases over for a fine full pull. So a place in the final along with 7 others. But unfortunately, can't come out due to mechanical problems, so it's left to these 7 to fight out for the Eurocup points. And the first to run is the reigning Eurocup champion, Magcal Bits and Pieces, driven by Leonard Griffian, although the owner and co-driver Willem Meldhausen is here. Perfect start. Leonard in complete control. This is a great run. And he goes over, and over 110 metres. He has sent a signal to the others, you can pack up and go home. I've made the winning run, and Willem is glad he saw that. Makes up for all the dodgy runs in between, doesn't it, Willem? Although when you're Eurocup champion, you don't have too many of these. Let's see it again from our mini-cam on the sledge. You can see the speed he's generating, how important it is to stay balanced and in complete control the whole time. And that is one full pull that will really take some beating. Here's Willem looking at it again from the side. That really was a fantastic full pull. Now here's Willem's fellow countryman Jan Bergraaf, going to give it a good try with his John Deere. Demolition Deere, Jan's from Loosdrecht near Hilversum, and he's a foreman in the building industry. John Deere's are really having a good day today. But he has to call it a day well below 80 metres. 76.96 for Demolition Deere. And Anna Hurleby, the camera can only mean that her husband Pekka is about to pull. 1996 European champion, which he won on home ground in Yerva, but they've since changed the name to Sigma Power, as you can see from the front and the wings. 4th in Bernay. Going along quite nicely. Then freewheeling as something breaks yet again. Whilst he has time to reflect on what could have broken, let's see it again. So our camera on the sledge. And you can almost hear when he loses power. There it is. He shakes his head and he knows he's not made it long enough. 90.77 for Pekka Hurleby and Sigma Power into second place at the moment with 4 more to pull. Sweden. This is Thomas Patterson and Dear Addiction. Spent all last season pulling in America, where he was never out of the money. Third in the Euro Cup this year. Always a steady competitor. And this is a useful fall. See the distance. 91.72, and that relegates the Valmet of Pekka Hurleby to third place. And someone who's hoping to do even better, Krista Ern and Megapower, the 4.4-ton European champion. Mechanical problems meant he only picked up 2 points in Brunei. Getting ready to roll. Easy forward on the throttle lever. You have to keep one hand on the lever the whole time, and that can be difficult when you bounce around. Krista really working the track. But it's difficult to see how far from this angle. But that looked to be a very good run. Let's replay it from our side camera. Oh yeah, dramatic stuff there from Megapower. Perfect balance, isn't it? Now we see it again from behind. On his way. Oh, and look how close he gets to the sideline. How does he stay in? That really was taking it to the limit. 92.79 and into second place. Behind the double full pull of Magcal Bits and Pieces. So this is a good round for the Valmets. Second and fourth with 2 top names to come. Of course, they just happen to be internationals, both of them. Here's the first. Red Alert and Peter Clark from Great Britain. He had to dig deep into his piggy bank after blowing up at Brunei. But he's back in business, although the track doesn't really suit his international magnum. And remember, he needs over 110 metres to force a second pull-off, and that is a tall order. Can he rise to the occasion? Giving it all he's got. But then it goes again. He really is in the wars. What a blow for the farmer from Buckinghamshire. Melted 3 pistons at Brunei. He took his double-cut tyres off because he thought it would be better to suit the track. And now it looks like they're giving away souvenirs. Metal parts all over the place. What a sorry sight. Red Alert being towed away. Look at that debris.
Piston. We got a piston from Red Alert. One very sad Pocomax aluminium piston. For one piston, £500. For one piston, £500. More spanning this week. Retail return.
That is good to hear. Here's a lovely camera girl who'll soon be getting the surprise of her life. There's one more to pull, and it's Hans Schweiger. He could well make it a home win. He also had problems with his Hypermax engine after Brunei. The internationals have really been in the wars, but maybe it's the tracks that don't suit them, or maybe they're trying to screw them up too tightly. Right, the 1992 European champion is ready. It's John Deere, Valmet, and not an international in sight at the top. Can he change that? Screwing it on as hard as he can. Oh, and another spectacular end for Rowdy. These international boys are really in the wars. Here it is again in slow motion. Crash, bang, wallop, and steam just about everywhere. Oh, fire in the hold. distance, 73.74, and that is a piece from another dead international. Right, the official result. Bits and Pieces marches on, and Mega and Sigma Power start to get it together. We go over to the points table. Bits and Pieces as a max, Red Alert second, and the two Valmets are right behind. Time for a short break. The Mighty Modifieds are next. And welcome back to Sottrum in Germany for round two of the 1997 Eurocup tractor pulling competition. Pulling News, the German pulling magazine, is the main sponsor here today. And that's the camera girl, Irish Schmidt, who works for Pulling News. What she doesn't know is that her boyfriend, the editor, Andres Broder, is about to propose to her. He mentioned it casually to her about 6 months ago, but she said he had to propose properly at the right time and lots of flowers, and she might consider it. So a helicopter in front of 6,000 spectators should get the girl to say yes, don't you think? I think the penny's beginning to drop. Andreas has changed. He's got a nice plush suit and tie. Here he goes. I think she said yes. Or ja in Germany. Which is just as well, because both families are here. And there are lots more flowers on the way. So Iris has got a man, and she'll be able to look back on this day for the rest of her life. And don't the firemen look sweet holding the flowers? Off they go. Who knows, perhaps next year they get married on the centre of the track. So when they have liftoff, so do we for the next Eurocup class, the 4.4 modifieds. 6 countries are represented, 12 teams aiming to get their hands on 21 points and first place. The first round went to Terminator from Fox and Desperate Dan. Right, we're going to see the first competitor, Cougar from Sweden, driven by Fredrik Andersson. Fredrik is sitting behind 4 Chevy V8s. They all look as though they've got blowers to me. Fredrik seems confident enough. Let's see what he can do. Starting him on his way. Oh, he's drifting wide and straight out of bounds. Well, that was short and sweet. Let's look at it from our other camera. Bang, out of bounds, and then sideways onto the sledge. He went off on an earlier pull. The firemen remembered it and left their seats as a safety precaution. But he didn't reach that far. Disqualified for Cougar. And now, one of the main German challengers, Green Fighter, 5.4-ton European champion. He's driving with 3 Allison V12 engines. And that's Heinz-Josef Forskamp in the saddle. He also promotes meetings in the German Championship and did the first round at Cooktalk, I believe. And can the Horsty do the business? Needs a full pull to put the pressure on the others. Oh, this is going to be close. He looks across. He knows he's out of luck. What's the distance for that? 99.15 for Green Fighter. Now from Allison Engines to Griffins. This is Century Fox and 36-year-old Ulrich Kropp, who comes from Nuttall. As I said, a double Griffin configuration. Come out of Lancaster World War II bombers. Been pulling for 15 years. 3 tractors, all called Century Fox. Let's see what he's made of. Very fluid. That wasn't a good run from Century Fox. Just 80.11 meters. Huh? news has one fan at least. And that is the uniform of the Alicante. Marielle looking nervously down the track to find husband and boot. Due for a good run. Let's hope that it's today. A single Allison with 2 turbos. And that is very slowly away. And I don't think this run is going to threaten anyone. But it's the taking part, not the winning, that counts. 77.62 for Alicante. This is really an extremely strong field, probably the best that's ever been in Europe, in fact. In this class, there are no fewer than 15 Isotov turbines on display. I tell you, the pits are more like a Russian helicopter base than anything else at the moment. The man in the black helmet is the proud owner of Keaton Curl. 31-year-old Paul Heisterman from Balkan. They built the tractor in the winter. They used to run with 2 Continentals, but now they've gone over to Isotovs. And unlike Terminator with a 2x2, they run with 4 in parallel. I reckon it's better like that to help with the steering. Certainly going straight. Oh, but then it explodes as it goes over the line for a full pull. There's one happy fan there. Here it is again in slow motion. There's the explosion on the 3rd engine. And that means that even though he's made a full pull, he's not going to run in the pull-off. What a shame. But there are 7 others who could all win on their day. 3 from Holland, a single from Denmark, Great Britain, Germany and Belgium. And we start the pull-off with 3 times European 4.4-ton champion Desperate Dan and Brian Armistead. Comes from near Blackpool, which I'm told is the largest holiday resort in Europe. And recent surveys show they have more beds in Blackpool hotel-wise than in the whole of Greece. Believe that? Desperate Dan's first run was not very convincing. Let's see if they've sorted out the problems. Oh, it's tough out there. And he is well short of 80 metres. And the dust settling on the spectators. So the track drying out really quickly. 80.14 for Desperate Dan. I don't think the Union Jack will be so dominant when the others have finished pulling. That is the Fox uniform, so he's spotting the sledge. In other words, directing the sledge into the position that his team thinks will give the best start and line for the run. And then he's off, hurtling down the track, ready to play Movie Man when Fox makes it run. Looking up from the sledge, and it's 23-year-old Fleming Smed from Scairn who's sitting enclosed in his driving box. When they rebuilt the tractor in the winter, they added the anti-roll bars just for safety's sake. 5 Chevys waiting to roll. Second after Bernay in the points table. He only knows one way to drive, throttle lever hard down, but he's drifting to his left. Is it out of bounds? No. Oh, well, he's in real trouble. Kills his rhythm, and it wasn't a good distance. Here we see it again from the end. Drifting wide, and how he failed to pick up some chalk on his tyres, I'll never know. But he did stay in, and the distance 71.3 for Fox. Right, on to the Q18 Popeye, driven by Jan van Alphen from Holland. Last year's Dux champion, and look at all those championships he's won. Over 10 at the last count. 3 Allison V12s, going straight down the middle, and straight into the lead. He is well past Desperate Dan. What a good run from Jan van Alphen. The scoreboard says 85.95 for the Dutch farmer. Now, this is Terminator. Must be the favourite after winning in Bernay and the European Championship. Stef de Hoff is the driver. And and they really have got their four Russian isotops working well. Look at this, powering down the track, over 7,500 horsepower, past Fox, past Desperate Dan, past Popeye. They take the lead. Raised his eye in triumph. Another tremendous performance there from the Belgian. 90.87 into the lead by over 5 meters. Flag going in, Steph with a satisfied glance. And him with an uncontrollable yawn. It's still only 6 o'clock in the evening, with 3 more to go. Now from Holland, one of the Eurocup pros, the champion from 1995, Green Spirit the fourth with Peter Direct. There are the Spirits, their trusty supporters. This morning one of the wheels was off in pieces. Someone had to drive home from Holland with the part, but then forgot a little star wheel. But they managed to get one from Desperate Dan. Oh, and he's paying them back with a fine run. He really is hungry for points. But behind the Belgium, but only by a little bit. 88.6 into second place. And they should be happy with that. Thumbs up. Peter returns the gesture. So Belgium first, Holland second and third. Ahead of the White Horse, which means White Horse the seventh is in the arena. A number 4 Russian turbines. They built theirs without seeing Terminator or how they put theirs together. There are many differences. They've had a lot of trouble with their crossbox, for example, but they look good on their qualifying run. Now let's see what they can do when the sledge is a lot heavier. And here he goes. Like run, but well down on the Belgian. And the fuel really makes your eyes smart if you haven't shut your visor fully. What's the distance? 80.76, so White Horse takes 4th place. And I'm sure the Dutch team will be happy with that. Fine crowd here enjoying a splendid competition. Now the last to pull in this class. Martin Ortgras with Ivan. But it's named because his 3 isotop turbines come from Russia. Hence the name. New this year. And Martin designed lights for the car part manufacturer Hella. Slowing, can't get up with the leaders. 77.58 gives him 6th place overall. Let's see the official result. Terminator does it again. The 3 Dutch take the minor places, and Desperate Dan is down to 5th.